Madame Carr, for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and the rest of the committee for the opportunity to appear before you today to speak about Bill C-22. I'm joining you today from Victoria, BC, the traditional territory of the Algonquin, Songhees, and Esquimalt peoples. And I'm very happy to be part of this critical discussion and the advancement of this foundational legislation to create Canada's first ever national disability benefit. The organization I represent, Inclusion Canada, was founded over 60 years ago. We are a national federation of 13 provincial territorial member associations, over 300 local associations, and more than 40,000 members across the country, supporting people with an intellectual disability and their families. Financial security for individuals with intellectual disabilities and their families has been a priority issue for our organization for many, many years. The creation of a Canada Disability Benefit has been a long time coming, but we're happy we are here now. We need to move quickly to pass this framework legislation, get the regulations developed, and get this benefit into the hands of people with disabilities. The people we support every day and many others with disabilities simply cannot wait. Bill C-22 is a historic opportunity to address the income security of people with disabilities in Canada. It is important to get it right. Past governments have prioritized the reduction of poverty for seniors and children with the Old Age Security and the Canada Child Benefit. It is well overdue that our government prioritizes the reduction of poverty for working age people with disabilities with the Canada Disability Benefit. Canadians with disabilities and their families face staggering rates of poverty that are inexcusable in a country like Canada. In Canada, 22% of people have a disability, with more than 40% of those living in poverty. But when we pull back the layers on this data and specifically look at people with intellectual disabilities, the rates are far worse. 73% of working age adults with an intellectual disability who live outside their family home live in poverty, compared to 23% of those in the same age cohorts among the general population. And this is truly unacceptable. With inflation at its highest level in decades, people with disabilities are falling deeper and deeper into poverty. Unfortunately, in Canada, poverty is the most likely outcome for someone with a disability. People are choosing between paying their rent and buying their food. They're taking risks with their health and safety. They're unable to access adequate health care and personal support. Pervasive ableism, discrimination, and legislated poverty are very real issues that people with disabilities battle every day. They can't get ahead, and they remain far below the poverty line. There are gaping holes in Canada's social safety net. The Canada Disability Benefit will begin to close some of those gaps. C-22 sends a clear message to people with disabilities that this country will no longer allow them to struggle to live a life with dignity. How we treat people with disabilities in our society reflects our values as a nation, and we have an opportunity to do better. We know that Bill C-22 is framework legislation that will enshrine the benefit in law. I know that some have suggested that C-22 should contain more details regarding the design of the benefit, that it should be amended. Furthermore, legislators might be tempted to make amendments to clarify more technical elements of the benefit. Although I clearly understand the motivations behind this, we do not think it is the best course of action. Indeed, some of these elements are extremely technical, and it is likely that the discussion on these elements in committee would greatly slow down the adoption of C-22. And with all due respect to the parliamentarians on this committee and beyond, in the spirit of nothing without us, we feel really strongly that it is persons with disabilities, their families, and representative organizations that are the ones who should be working arm in arm with government to design this benefit through the regulatory process. Our view is that we have an opportunity before us now to get this foundational legislation enacted into law. Getting this bill passed as quickly as possible will allow government to start the formal process of negotiating with provinces and territories on how the benefit will interact with other provincial territorial supports, which we know is a very complex system in this country. My final plea to you as members of this committee is that if you truly want to make a historic impact on the lives of people with disabilities in this country, and I know you all do, you will do everything in your power to ensure that this bill passes as quickly as possible so we can get on to the design work, the negotiations with the PTs, and get this benefit into the hands of people who desperately need it. No one in Canada should have to live a life in poverty, especially as a result of having a disability. So let's please get this done. Thank you.